stage today are famous characters from Greek mythology. This evening, you will hear from gods, goddesses, heroes, and mortals from many Greek myths.
Hi, I'm Lydia. Our Greek characters have been getting ready for this evening for quite some time. They've all prepared a bio riddle and have made a project in food items. You'll get to play a guessing game. On our program are the names of 5th grade key students and the Greek characters they are portraying. See if you can match who they are. We will give the answers later, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Emma, tell us.
Good evening, everyone. The story of my life is quite peculiar, especially the way I was born. A small area in the ocean began to start foaming up, and from the foam I arose. After I was born, I arrived at the island of Cythera, where the 3 Graces greeted me. The 3 Graces placed jewelry on me, put clothes on me, and put me in a chariot that led me to Olympus. Once I arrived at Olympus, Zeus was very apprehensive that the gods were going to fight over the hand in marriage of me because of my beauty and charismatic personality. He compelled Hephaestus, the ugliest god, to marry me. He was tremendous at making beautiful jewels, which I loved. Although I was married to Hephaestus, I longed for the charming Ares. One of my many sons is Eros, also known as Cupid. Eros would cause lots of commotion. He would strike gods and goddesses with his arrows. This makes the individual fall deeply in love with the first person they see. Some words that come to mind that best describe me are dazzling, charming, and radiant. I love flowers, jewels, and doves. I really enjoy looking elegant and lovely. Can you guess who I am?
Damon McLeod.
One day, when I was little, my mom, Thetis, decided to dip me in a river. Not just any river, a river that could make you immortal with the side effect of memory loss. But the only part of my body that didn't touch the river was my heel. About 10 years later, there was a prophecy that I would die young. To make sure that didn't happen, I was disguised as a girl. A man named Odysseus found out I wasn't a girl. The way he found out was because I was so interested in swords and shields. So Odysseus took me under his wing. He trained me how to use a sword and shield. And in the blink of an eye, I was going to the Trojan War. Hector, one of the Trojans' best warriors, challenged me to a battle. My friend Patroclus volunteered to go instead of me. Patroclus wore my armor to make sure he looked exactly like me. Instead of winning, like I thought he would, he died in battle. Thetis received armor from Hephaestus for me. I went out to Hector and killed him in the battle. I killed many Trojans and the great Penthesilea, a great Amazon warrior. One of the Trojans, Paris, was aided by Apollo and found my weakness. Paris pulled out his bow and aimed for my heel. The shot was amazingly accurate and I died of my wound. Who am I?
Owen Jackson.
As you all know, there are many myths, gods, and goddesses in the Greek world. I'm a big part of the myth, but I'm not a goddess. I'm immortal. Not only am I immortal, but I'm also a princess, and almost a hero. You may ask why or how I'm a hero, but we'll get to that later. So for now, just sit back, relax, and listen to my story. Well, remember how I mentioned I was a big part of the myth? That myth is Theseus and the Minotaur. It all started when my father, King Minos, decided to attack Athens for fun. Then the king of Athens decided to make a deal with my father, so he would stop hurting his people and land. The deal was that my father would stop attacking Athens if every 9 years they would send 7 boys and 7 girls to my homeland to feed the Minotaur that lived in the labyrinth. The Minotaur was a monster that was half human, half bull, and the labyrinth was a maze so the Minotaur couldn't find his way out. 9 years later, 7 Athenian boys and 7 Athenian girls came. One of the boys was Prince Theseus, the prince of Athens. He had come because he thought what my father was doing was cool, and so did I. He thought the gods and goddesses would help him, but they showed no mercy for Theseus, so I helped him. I gave him a ball of string that he could tie to the beginning of the labyrinth and roll out as he walked in, so he could find his way out. I also gave him a sword to kill the Minotaur. I would only give him these things, though, if he agreed that after he slayed the Minotaur, he would take me back to Athens with him. He agreed. The next day, he successfully slayed the Minotaur and saved the children. Then Theseus and I snuck away back to Athens, but on the way we stopped at the island of Naxos. I was so happy walking along with Theseus. Then I said, I can't wait to start planning the wedding, for I had thought he loved me, but he didn't. I had become tired, so I took a quick nap on the beach, and when I woke, no one was there but Dionysus, the god of the wine. So he took me back to his home, and we were happily married. So now you know my story. I hope I answered some of your questions, but here's the real question. Who am I?
Dylan Solano. I am the god of all forges, fire, blacksmiths, and some people say I am the god of volcanoes and forest fires. I am also very creative, and my Roman name is Vulcan. I am one of the many sons of Zeus and Hera. My parents always thought I was hardworking, and one day I was little and interrupted one of the many fights my parents had, and I got kicked out of Olympus, literally, kicked by Zeus out of Olympus. When I landed 7 days later, I landed on the island of Lemnos. Luckily, Lemnos has a lot of caves, so I made my home in one and soon became a blacksmith for all the gods of Olympus. Most of the time in my workshop, I worked with metal, iron, and gold. I made my way back to Olympus with Dionysus, and it took a very long time. When I got back to Olympus, Zeus forgave me, and we were happy again, so I got to stay. I made my workshops under volcanoes so I could get the heat from the volcano's magma and fuel from my oven. I did lots of things in my workshops, like I created helpers that were cyclops. I also found out that Zeus was picking one man to marry Aphrodite. He picked me because I was the steadiest of the gods and I would never hurt her. I always made her jewelry and lots of armor. I am an ugly, short man that was very muscular. If you remember when I said that Zeus forgave me, well, Hera didn't, so I pretended to make her a gold throne, but it was really a trap, and she got very mad. All of a sudden, Dionysus came and rescued Hera. I was angry because I thought he was on my side because he helped me get from Lemnos to Olympus. I also made the famous shield of Achilles, but I'll let somebody else tell you that story. The gods were proud of me for making them things. Can you guess who I am? Lydia Todd.
I was a very chatty wood nymph until Hera cursed me. She cursed me because she didn't like me talking so much. I don't think that's a very good reason to curse me. What was she thinking? Hera's idea of cursing me was to take away my voice, so now I can only repeat the last words of others. Being a wood nymph, I lived in the woods with other wood nymphs. Narcissus was very handsome, and all of the nymphs, including me, loved him. But Narcissus only loved himself. I could not tell him I loved him because of the curse. I followed his footsteps, admiring him day after day. One day, Narcissus was sitting by a pond staring at his reflection. I love you, he said to his reflection. Love you, I answered. Who's there, he asked. There, I answered. Come, he called. Come, I answered. Finally, he went back to staring at himself. Soon he forgot to eat, sleep, and drink, so he died. A narcissus flower grew where he had died. Soon I had died of sadness myself. Now you can still hear my voice repeating after others' words. Can you guess who I am?
Garrett Kaluzgian. I am the Lord of the universe. I was born to Rhea and Cronus. I have 5 siblings, but my father has swallowed them whole. I grew quick, and soon, from behind the goat gate Amalthea, I made a breastplate called Aegis. My first wife was Metis, a timeless and goddess of foods. Soon we made a plan to overthrow my dad. In the plan, Metis went to Cronus and made a magic herb that made him throw out fully grown siblings and myself, my fully grown siblings. They were Hades, Poseidon, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera. Cronus saw all 6 of us and surrendered. The Titans who were Cronus' followers revolted. Only 2 Titans, Prometheus and Epimetheus, joined me in the battle. I also had many uncles. They were hunter-young monsters of Cyclops. The Cyclops made lightning bolts to me. Eventually, I threw the Titans into Tartarus, the pit that my uncles had been trapped in. Then 2 monsters, Typhon and Echidna, came to power. Typhon picked up Mount Aetna in a battle, but I pinned him under it with many sunbeams. Echidna ran away. I sent Prometheus and Epimetheus to Earth to create living creatures. Epimetheus made many living creatures and gave everyone a special gift, except humans. So Prometheus taught them labor. Then winter came, so the Prometheus gave the fire to stay warm. But I didn't want Prometheus to give man fire, so I changed it to case his mountain. There he stayed. I wanted to punish man for accepting the gift of fire. I gave him a woman named Pandora. I warned Pandora not to open the box I gave him. But when she did, the evil of the world flew out. The only good thing in the box was hope. Only one person, Prometheus' son Deucalion, escaped the evil. Deucalion heard I was going to flood the earth, so he built an ark. Him and his wife boarded the ark and for 10 days it rained. The water subsided. Deucalion and his wife made more people, because all the others had drowned. I have many sons and daughters. Some of them are Ares, Hephaestus, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Athena, and Dionysus. I am involved in many Greek stories, including Heracles, the Trojan War, and Orpheus. Helena.
Megan Fitzpatrick.
How would you feel if you're the most important goddess but unknown to most people? Well, that's me. I'm the most important since Zeus declared my name would be mentioned first in any prayer. My parents were the Titans, Rhea and Cronus, and almost 60 of the Olympians. Of all the Olympians, I am the most upright and charitable. I am the goddess of the sacred fire, hearth, and home. Just in case you don't know, hearth is the form of fireplace. My traits are all actually positive, such as gentle, forgiving, and peaceful. I am known for my kindness and generosity, and I'm the goddess that looks after family. I don't really have a story because I didn't go on adventures since I was tending to the hearth on Mount Olympus. Each city is a public hearth where the fire is allowed to stop burning. Two gods, Apollo and Poseidon, asked my hand in marriage, but I refused both of them. In Argus symbol, which is a sacred flame, is used to represent me. That's all about me, so can you guess who I am?
Nick J.
I have had many exciting adventures, which have been chronicled by a famous Greek poet. One of my most famous adventures happened in the city of Troy. The Trojans accepted a gift from us. It was a large wooden horse which concealed an entire army. When night fell, my men and I snuck out of the horse, attacked the unsuspecting Trojans, sacked the sacred city of Troy, and won the Trojan War. Afterwards, my crew and I had many adventures, such as finding and escaping from Polyphemus, the Cyclops and the son of Poseidon, encountering Circe, an enchantress, going to Hades, where death is king, going past the dangerous island of the Sirens, and escaping the dangerous whirlpool Charybdis and the six-headed monster Skyla. Something terrible happened after that. My men foolishly ate the cattle of Hyperion, the sun god, and as a result, they perished. As the only surviving member of my crew, I was blown away to Ogygia, where a nymph named Calypso held me captive, waiting for me to marry her. I refused to marry her because I already had a beloved wife waiting faithfully for me. After 7 years, Calypso respectfully told me that I was free to go. Poseidon, angry with me for hurting his son Polyphemus, blew my boat off course to the island of the Aegeans. When I told them my story, they helped me to return home, where Athena disguised me as a beggar so that my wife's suitors would not recognize me and kill me. I was able to defeat them and reunite with my beautiful wife and loving son. Who am I?
Jerry McGuire.
Hi, I'm the Greek goddess. Well, that's for you to guess. I'm the goddess of marriage, children, and families. I'm the sister and wife of Zeus. When he first asked me to be his queen, I rejected, so he came up with a more clever way. He turned himself into a helpless little cuckoo bird out in the rain. When I went to hold the little bird in my arms, there was Zeus in my arms. I couldn't say no after that. We then got married, though my husband didn't always say loyal to me. He started the habit of attracting women and having children with them. That, of course, made me jealous. I would punish those women and children. My most famous punishment was when I sent 2 servants to kill the infant Hercules. He was able to choke the snakes with his strength, but he didn't get off that easy. Later in his life, I put a curse on him that made him insane. He killed his family and didn't realize it until I removed the spell. Because of this, he was forced to do the 12 rituals. I think I got my revenge. Some may call me fiery-tempered, jealous, or overprotective. I'm just playing my part as a protector of marriage. I put curses on many people, but I can't tell you about all of them. I'll just tell you about one more. Once I saw Zeus having a picnic with another woman. It was Io. When my husband saw me watching, he quickly turned her into a cat. He told me she was a gift for me. I knew he was lying. I tied Io to a tree and sent Arcus to watch her. Arcus had 100 eyes and only shut half of them when he slept. When Zeus found what had happened, he told Hermes to lull him to sleep with his lyre. Because he was so good at playing the lyre, Arcus shut all of his eyes. Hermes then killed him. To remember my servants, I moved his eyes and put them on the peacock and made them carry my chariot. Hermes then set Io free, but I sent the gadfly, the fly that stings livestock, after Io the cat. She ran all the way to Egypt. When the Egyptians saw the cow, they thought that they should worship her. It's not fair, right? Zeus never really learned from his mistakes, and I went on putting curses on people. Well, now you know the facts. Can anyone guess who I am? Ryan Young.
I am a Greek god. I am son of Cronus and Rhea, also the god of the sea. People describe me as very greedy, violent, and powerful. When I was young, I was swallowed up by my father, so I couldn't overthrow him. When my brother Zeus was born, my mother hid him and gave Cronus a rock wrapped in a blanket. Cronus swallowed the rock and threw me up in my brother Hades. When Hades and I came out of his stomach, we were fully aged. Cronus died. Hades, Zeus, and I are considered gods, so a very talented blacksmith named Hephaestus made us all magical weapons. He made me a golden trident. If I struck the ground with my trident, it would cause earthquakes, shipwrecks, drownings, and even volcano eruptions. One time King Midas wanted a bull. I gave him a beautiful white bull, but I told him he'd have to sacrifice it. I got mad at him because he lied to me and did not sacrifice the bull, so I tricked his wife into loving the bull. She loved it so much that she had a son. At the top of his body was the bull, and at the bottom of his body was a human. He became the monstrous Minotaur. I live in an underwater castle. The waves of the ocean are symbolized as horses. Those horses pull my chariot over the ocean. I am known as the second strongest god because when Odysseus and his crew got me very angry, I drowned them all with tidal waves and sea monsters. I can make an island by raising my hand, however I want, big or small. I can also summon any creature I want, like armored horses ready for battle. I am married to the sea goddess Amphitrite. She was not greedy or jealous because she knew I loved her. I wasn't a very loyal husband and had a very short temper. I am a father of Theseus. My Roman name is Neptune. Can you guess who I am?
Jordan Galuza.
I was created by the Olympian gods with traits that most women value the most. All the gods and goddesses gave me gifts that were these traits. Artemis gave me strength and courage. Athena gave me wisdom. Hera gave me majesty and grace. Hermes gave me wit and cleverness. Aphrodite gave me beauty. And Apollo gave me music and song. Basically, I was perfect. Yeah, not so much. There's always attached to these amazing gifts, right? So of course, I had to be given curiosity along with all the beauty and grace and music and blah, blah, blah. Normally, curiosity would be fine, but I was sent down to Earth with a special box and some specific instructions. I was told not to ever open the box. So when one of your traits is curiosity, you can imagine how hard it was not to open a box given to you by the one and only Zeus. One of my other instructions was to marry Epimetheus. I didn't mind this. I was fine with this because he was handsome, kind, and truly loved me. He also was constantly helping me stay away from the box so my curiosity couldn't get the best of me. Whenever people saw the box, they asked me what was inside. I explained to them that it was a gift from the gods that I was not allowed to open. They answered me with, "Open the box. If it is a gift from the gods, it must hold great magic." Of course I refused. But day by day, my curiosity increased. I began to frequently polish the box with olive oil and dream about what was inside. Epimetheus began to worry about me. One day, he convinced me to come outside and join some festivities. I agreed because I thought it was probably best for me to forget the box for a little. All the while I was dancing, I thought about the box. So while everyone was eating evening meal, I snuck away to the house. I thought, just one look, and then I'll know what is inside. What harm could that do? How wrong I was. I hurried to the chest. There were voices calling me. I thought, maybe I heard Zeus wrong. Maybe he told me to open the box. I turned the key and heard the click. I opened the box. That was the worst mistake curiosity can ever cause. A cloud of biting, stinging, and suck-like things poured out. Their names were sorrow, pain, evil, greed, envy, despair, hatred, poor health, laziness, and lies. They were called the Furies. I slammed the box's lid shut, but it was too late. The Furies swarmed around biting me. I felt angry for the first time in my life. Just then, Epimetheus rushed in to see if I was harmed. As I sobbed in Epimetheus' arms, I heard another voice telling me to open the box once more. I refused. The voice said, "You must. I'm the only one who can help." Epimetheus convinced me to open the box. A small winged creature emerged. It said, "I am hope. When the Furies have caused their harm, I alone can take away the pain. I will fly to those who need my comfort, and they will live in peace once more." As I wiped away my tears, Epimetheus and I released hope into the world. Now, can you guess who I am?
Jack Kester.
I'm the god of thieves. My daughter is one of 12 titans in a cave on Mount Celion. I stole cattle from Apollo, and so I scared them so the cattle would walk backward to my home. To keep Apollo from knowing that I stole his cattle, I put sticks and twigs on the bottom of the cattle's feet and on mine to cover up all the footprints. When I got home to my cave, I jumped into my bed, a padded basket, to pretend I was asleep. But my mom, Maria, caught me red-handed and realized that I've been sneaking out at night, so I grabbed my lyre and played a lullaby to put her asleep. As I was growing up, I became the messenger of the gods, and also I'm the fastest of the gods because I had a winged hat and a winged pair of shoes. I can't forget that. Every god was given a pebble and was supposed to sit in council and judge me because I'm a thief. Apollo eventually forgave me for stealing his cattle and found out two were missing. So I reacted quickly and pulled out my lyre once again, and I played Apollo a lullaby. As Apollo woke up, he forgot his anger and made me a trade, so I got the cattle and he got the lyre. I also guided the dead soul to the underworld, and I was the protector of the travelers. Who am I?
Noah Sakula.
How would you like to drive the sun across the sky? Well, I got to do that. In fact, that was my most important job. I had to harness my horses to my chariot and drive the sun across the sky. That is how the sun rises and sets every day. I was very good at playing instruments. I was excellent at playing the lyre. That was the instrument I used to win my music competitions. I may have also invented the lute. One time, King Midas liked Pan's pipes better, so I gave him donkey ears. My parents were Zeus and Leto, the Titans, and my sister was Artemis. Hera said Leto should never give birth to me. Luckily, I was born. When I was born, I turned out to be a swift hunter, like my sister. I was also the god of truth, and I would never tell a lie. I was also god of light. I also had bad luck in love. I got shot with one of Cupid's arrows and fell in love with Daphne, a water nymph. Daphne also got shot, and that made her hate me. I chased her around until she turned into a bay tree. I may not have been able to love her, but I will always love bay trees. I am also very famous for my oracle at Delphi. I also helped kill Achilles in the Trojan War with my excellent arrow shooting.
Can you guess who I am?
Anna Alba.
Welcome to the world of hunting children in my life. When my mother gave birth to me, she soon found out I had a twin brother named Apollo. My mom, Leto, and dad, Zeus, decided my brother and I should hide from Hera before she could curse us like all of Zeus's other children who weren't hers. On my 3rd birthday, my dad said I could wish for anything I wanted because I was favored by him. I wished for a pack of 10 dogs, never to grow old, some wings, and a silver bow with silver arrows that would never run out. He agreed, but I could take back any wish if I wanted to. I didn't. One day when I was taking a bath in a lake with my nymphs, a hunter came by and stared at me. I was mad, so I turned him into a deer and commanded his dogs to rip him to pieces. My best friend, Orion, and I always hunted together, but my brother Apollo was jealous. Apollo took me to practice shooting targets he set up in a lake, and not knowing the target was Orion, I shot and hit a bullseye, and he was dead. Now that you've heard my story, do you know who I am?
Eric Raza.
I am a Greek god, one of the 3 sons of the Titan Cronus. I am the god of the place no one wants to go, where the dead travel and spend the rest of their time as spirits. Hello, I am one of the sons of Cronus. I am also an immortal Greek god. Let's start with my story all began, when I was born. When I was born, my father swallowed me and my siblings, who were Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Poseidon, and Zeus. We were swallowed because my father was scared we would grow up and overpower him and take his place. All of us were swallowed except Zeus. Zeus was hidden from my father when he was born and switched with a rock, so Cronus, my father, swallowed a rock, which made him spit us out. We came up fully grown. We then fled to Mount Olympus, where we spent our lives and became known as the Olympians. Zeus came up with the idea to overthrow Cronus and take his place. We knew it would be difficult because he was the ruler of everyone, the Titans and Olympians. So he released all the monsters to help us fight the Titans and overthrow my father. After 10 years of fighting, we won the war and overthrew my father and became the gods and goddesses. Now, as the rulers, we have to decide who would rule which part of Earth. Zeus picked first and he got heaven. Then Poseidon picked and he got the sea. This means I was left with the horrid underworld. The underworld got no sunlight, not lots of fresh air, and it was lonely and creepy because that's where all the souls of the dead would go. And I would watch it over and over. There was only one entryway, which was the river Styx. This was guarded by my 3-headed dog, Cerberus. He would almost make sure no one entered. After a while, I started to act just like the underworld, cold and gloomy. Not many people liked me. Once, when I saw a beautiful girl named Persephone, I liked her so much, I may have opened up the ground beneath her feet and forced her to marry me. She spent half her time in the underworld and half her time on Earth. This is the story of my life, and I continue to live beneath your feet and do my work for the day. Can you guess who I am?
Grace Harpster.
I am the queen of the underworld. I am the only child of Demeter, my mother. We lived in a world of beauty. Wherever we walked, flowers sprung up beneath our feet. People from all over the land came to ask if I married them. I said no to all of them because I would miss my mother too much. We never even left each other's side. I could never just run off and get married. On a beautiful day, when my mother was fixing the harvest, I wandered off to go pick some flowers nearby. Who knew that Hades was just about to kidnap me? I was too focused on picking beautiful flowers to notice the ground below me was rumbling. Then, a giant chariot with 4 black horses rose from the ground. Hades was inside the chariot. He then grabbed me and took me down to the underworld. I screamed and cried for my mother, but she didn't hear me. Hades didn't even care. The next thing I knew, I'm apparently the queen of the underworld. My mother searched and searched for me. She was then so determined to find me that she asked Zeus if he had slain me. He said no, but we would go ask the other gods. So then she asked Poseidon, Hephaestus, then Hades himself. Hades told her to go ask the sun. Then the sun told Demeter that Hades took me as queen/prisoner.
Then her sadness turned to rage as she ran to get me. My mother demanded to see me right away when she reached the secret entrance to the underworld. Hades then led her to his palace. When she walked in, she immediately saw me sitting motionlessly at Hades' throne. Then she tried to take me away, but a dead goddess stopped my mother again. She told my mother that I had eaten 6 pomegranates instead of dead. Then she had to do a really hard thing. She had to leave me with a god that I didn't even know. She must have captured me, not exactly the kind of guy that want to leave you anyway. She had no choice though. She was so upset. Everywhere she stepped, it would kill all plants or animals around her. All children died of starvation. All the children's parents implored Zeus to help them. So he did. He told my mother to meet him at his throne. So she did. When she got there, she was not very happy to see Hades there too. Zeus then said, Demeter, all the people of the world are dying. There is no more beauty here. Hades, for the 6 seeds to Queen Eve, 6 months she will spend with Demeter. For the other 6, she will spend with you in the underworld. They both agreed. Then Hades went to go get me. My mother and I were both so happy to see each other. This is how seasons work. The 6 months that I'm on Earth with my mother is spring and summer. When I'm in the underworld with Hades, it is fall and winter. Who am I?
Johnny McKinnon.
Have you ever thought about someone who can lift something that feels like it weighs 20 tons? Then I could probably lift it with one finger. I am the mortal son of Zeus that is famous for finishing the 12 almost impossible tasks, otherwise known as the 12 labors. But first I'm going to tell you about my life from the beginning. I was only an infant, relaxing in my cave when Hera, a Greek goddess, sent 2 enormous snakes. Even though I was an infant, I still killed them. When I got older, Hera then hypnotized me into thinking everyone was my enemy and made me kill my wife and sons. After I noticed what I just did, I was bursting with sorrow. So then I went to King Eurystheus, and he gave me the 12 labors I was talking about. I'm not going to explain every single labor, but I'll tell you about a few. For my first labor was, I had to kill the Nemean lion. This lion had skin so tough that I had to wrestle the lion with my hands because weapons couldn't harm it. My third labor was to capture the Arcadian stag, which took me a full year to do. My final labor was to capture Cerberus, a 3-headed dog that protected the underworld. After that, the gods forgave me for killing my family. Later, I married a beautiful woman named Diana. One day we were traveling together and a centaur named Nessus tried to capture my wife, so I shot him with a bow and arrow. Before Nessus died, he told my wife that his blood was a love potion, so then she sprinkled some of his blood on my clothes. Then, when I put them on, my skin started to burn. His blood was actually poison. Then after I died, my father brought me up to Mount Olympus to become a god. Who am I?
Jacob Ruppel.
Do you know anyone that was shipped out to sea in a box? Well, I was. Can you figure out who I am? A long time ago, there lived King Arceus of Argos. He had a beautiful daughter named Danae, but alas, he longed for a son. He went to an oracle, but he didn't get good news. The oracle said, "You won't have a son, but Danae will, and he will kill you." Therefore, Danae was locked up with one hole in a roof for sunlight. But one day, Zeus came through the roof and declared his love for her. In a year, Danae had a son. That son was me. My grandfather then threw us in a chest and bam, we were pulled out to sea. Since I was young, when we washed up on shore, I could not help but cry. My mother tried to calm me, but luckily she didn't. A nice man by the name of Dictys saved us. His brother, Polydectus, ruled the island. He wanted to marry my mother, but I stood up for her. He wanted to get rid of me, and I didn't have a gift for him, so he sent me to get Medusa's head for a gift. Athena gave me a reflective shield so I could see Medusa, but I wouldn't turn to stone. Hermes guided me to where Medusa lives, and he gave me a sword. First, I needed a magic wallet, weighing sandals, and an invisible cape. The Grey Woman gave me directions to get them. The nymphs of the north gave me all 3 things. With the shield and sword, I slew Medusa's head and stuffed it into my magic wallet. On my journey home, I also slew a giant sea monster and saved Andromeda. I then took her home and she became my bride. I brought Medusa's head to Polydectus, but he didn't believe I had Medusa's head. I soon realized that he just wanted to get rid of me, so I showed him Medusa's head and he turned to stone. When Danae, Andromeda, and I got home, my grandfather was at the games. I wanted to complete a discus. Unfortunately, when I threw the javelin, the wind caught it and I killed my grandfather. As predicted, I killed my grandfather.
Andromeda and I had a son named Electron, who was the grandfather of another great hero, Heracles. Who am I?
Nicole Raza.
What would you think if you were born by popping out of your father's head? I know, that sounds very strange. I'll explain my story to you and maybe you'll get it. My mother, Metis, married Zeus, my father. Metis was about to have a child. Zeus didn't like that. In order to stop Metis from having a baby, Zeus swallowed her. Then, a few months later, Zeus had a splitting headache. He asked his son Hephaestus to cleave open his head with an axe. I then popped out of my father's head, fully grown and clothed, but my mother remained inside of Zeus forever. She was immortal, so she was alive. She had given birth to me while she was inside of Zeus. As I grew older, people discovered that I was very intelligent. I was a goddess of wisdom. Prometheus' job was to create people and animals. Sometimes, when Prometheus had trouble with a task, I would come and help him. I helped people by giving them advice. I even taught my fellow gods and goddesses new facts every single day. There was a man named Jason who searched for the golden fleece of the golden ram that was killed for Zeus. I helped him build a ship that he could sail on. He called it the Argos. The Argos is possibly the largest ship ever built. Attica is an area of Greece. There, they worshipped Poseidon and me. They couldn't decide who was the Attica's patron god. They decided that whoever had the most useful gift would be Attica's patron god. Poseidon gave a horse. They could use that to pull a wagon. I gave an olive tree. This provided almost everything. I was crowned Attica's patron goddess and had the honor of having Attica's capital city in back. I was also a very talented weaver. A woman named Arachne claimed that she was a better weaver than me. I did not like that. I disguised myself as an old woman and went to talk to Arachne. I told her that her work was beautiful. She responded by saying, "I can weave better than anyone." Now I was furious. I ripped off my disguise and challenged Arachne to a weaving contest. My picture was stunning. Arachne's picture was pretty impressive too, but it made the gods look foolish. Arachne realized what she had done and she was ashamed. She wanted to end her life. I thought that was pretty extreme. I turned her into a spider so she could spin webs and not be able to harm herself. I think you can see what kind of a person I am now, and I hope you understand my story. Now can you guess who I am? Now it's time to check your answers and see how many Greek characters you guessed correctly. The host will introduce the students again as their character.
I'm going to tell us is Aphrodite. David McLeod as Achilles. Mullen Jackson as Ariadne. Dylan Solano as Hephaestus. Lydia Todd as Echo. Garrett Klusgian as Zeus. Megan Fitzpatrick as Hestia.
Nick J. as Odysseus. Jillian McGuire as Hera. Ryan Young as Poseidon. Jordan Galuzzo as Pandora. Jack Kester as Hermes. Noah Sakula as Apollo.
Hannah Albach is Artemis. Eric Raza is Hades. Grace Harpster is Persephone. Johnny McKinnon as Heracles. Jacob Ruppel as Perseus. Nicole Raza as Athena.
The students have made a project and a food item. You can learn more about our great guests by visiting their tables, asking questions, and sampling their food items. Please enjoy the rest of